This is the Always Direct podcast, and we talk with movers and shakers of this world to learn about the ups and downs they went through to get where they are now. Let's get started with the show.
Hey, John Rayyan here. I'm the host of Always Direct podcast, where I talk to the top leaders and ask direct questions on the early days of their journey. I've got Jeremy Weiss here, who's done thousands of interviews with successful entrepreneurs, investors, and CEOs. And we have flipped the script, and he will be interviewing me today. What's going on, Jeremy?
Thank you for having me. I have two words for you, John: Papa Rays. I'm excited to talk about Papa Rays and really how you built up. You have multiple locations, but how you built up this one location. So anyone who's a restaurant or anyone who wants to know about marketing should listen to this episode. But before we dive into it, this episode is brought to you by Always Direct Mail. You know, John, you and I both know the power of direct mail. Like, I think it's the foundation of literally everything that we do is copywriting and direct mail. So if you've ever gotten a mailer to your house, a restaurant, gym, it doesn't matter, and you post it up on the refrigerator for later, you are in front of people's eyes. So I know the company Always Direct Mail is the engine behind gyms, restaurants, grocery stores. I don't have to go on, but you know, he's been in the industry. Their company's been in the industry for 15 years. They built 9 pizzerias on the back of direct mail. Check out alwaysdirectmail.com. So John, Papa Rays, okay?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. The first location.
The first location was, well, we've been in the pizza business for quite a while. But the first Papa Rays was 2009. Okay. And we're still in it. We still have 5 locations till now. One of them is corporate, 4 of them are franchised. We've built a number of restaurants over the years. Some sold, some we use different concepts. And all of them have been built with using the power of direct mail. Direct mail has been the single most powerful tool that we've used consistently to grow our businesses.
So take me back to that time. There was a closed down diner. Mm-hmm. What'd you do with it?
Oh, the story is fantastic. So it's our busiest location. Okay. It's the one on that we currently, the corporate location is our busiest location in the company. And how it came to be is very interesting. Let me tell you this story. How synchronicity came into, you can call it God, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, it was unbelievable. I'm sitting in the back of my restaurant at the time, which was in Glenview, Illinois. It was called Pinocchio's Pizza. And I was sitting there doing paperwork, and one of my cooks came in who didn't speak English that much, but he came into my office, and it was early, and he said, you know, he was basically trying to tell me that there's somebody in the front waiting for me. I said, I looked in the camera system, and I see an old man with a mustache. Everything's gray. So I walked to the front, and I said, hello, how are you? He goes, with this very thick, deep Greek accent. Hi, how are you? How is business? You know, like that. I'm like, I'm good. Business is good. Who are you? Why are you asking? It's 9:30 in the morning. What are you doing here? He's like, and he goes, I have place. Maybe you're interested. And I was like, okay. I think I sound Russian right now, but it doesn't matter. My accent's not perfect. And I said, okay. Who? You know, he goes, I live down the street, and the cook lives next to him. And he saw that this gentleman, his name was Christos Thomas, which he's still my friend right now. He came to my wedding. He was stuck in the snow, and the cook helped shovel him out. He's in his late 70s at this time, so he likes the restaurant. He felt like it was synchronicity. He felt like it was like a calling to come and ask me this. Well, later on that day, I went down to see him on Belmont and Pulaski. Now I'm in Glenview. That's 40 minutes away. I went to go see this dead diner that he used to own on a corner of Belmont and Pulaski with a closed down gas station across the street and it's on a corner and a closed.
I know exactly where Belmont and Pulaski is. Yeah.
Yeah. The grocery store was gone. It used to be a Jewel, I believe, and the gas station was shut down. But I noticed that there was a lot of people walking around. There's a bus station, and it seemed like a lot of.
It's families. A busy intersection. Yeah.
Very busy intersection. So I was surprised why the other 2 places were closed and why the diner was closed. This was in 2008. So on a piece of scratch paper that we found in the parking lot, we talked about the deal. We wrote it down. We wrote down numbers, and I agreed right then and there. So I went back home and I didn't talk to my brother. I didn't talk to my people who I advised me. I just made a decision right then and there. And let me tell you, it didn't start out to be the best location, but it definitely turned out to be the best location. Over the course of this, since 2008 till now, it's been growing double digits every single year. And we've become good friends with the landlord. He still talks a lot of smack, and he's really one of those funny old men who makes fun of you constantly. But he's been to my brother's wedding, he's been to my wedding, and we consider him a very good friend of ours. And that store is our most profitable and busiest location by far.
Talk about what you did on the direct mail front, because you had said, you've told me before, you've tried everything, right? So social media, Facebook, PR. What did you do in direct mail that worked?
Well, consistency is the number one thing. If I were to give it to one word, all right, one word, because I've realized that there is no magic bullet. Okay, getting on TV is probably the best way to bring business in. If you can get on TV, a good public relations.
But even that creates a spike and then it goes down.
Yes, it's a peak and valley, and you don't. That helps though. It creates validity, and so I always recommend don't stop that. You don't need to hire a PR company. You could just send out emails yourself to certain people. You want it to be interesting. You want to stay on top of mind. 1 out of 100 might stick and actually get some exposure, but if you can consistently do it, that would be ideal. But that's also a long shot, because they don't want to keep going to the same places. So you're going to get hit by, let's say, Chicago's Best or any of the main companies. And then after that, they may rerun it. And every time they rerun it, you might get busy, but you're at the whim of whatever they're doing.
You don't have control. Yeah.
Zero control. So I always recommend to friends and family and people who use me as on advisory boards, I always recommend, don't go expensive on the material stuff in your restaurant. Okay, on the build out, on the equipment, go secondhand. If you can buy a used oven and it's still in good condition, buy it. If you can save money on the ceiling tiles, do it. I'm saying there is definitely, it's important to have a good setup and quality products. But if it's going to be sacrificing your direct mail marketing budget, don't do it. Nobody really cares how beautiful your Blodgett oven is, or as long as it cooks the product properly, get it for as least the amount of money as possible, because every dollar that you spend on that is not going to be spent on direct mail. So I don't care if it's public relations companies that you spend thousands of dollars a month on, or if you're dealing with social media companies that promise you the world, or if you're dealing with, Facebook, Instagram, email marketing, which brings back very, very, very tiny low returns, but it's so inexpensive that it's like almost you should always do it. I mean, you should never stop doing email marketing. Door-to-door hanging, okay, flyer hanging on the actual doors, and everything else under the sun. I mean, there's a lot of other ways, but the most efficient, consistent way to market is through direct mail, because you can do it weekly. And you can do it throughout the whole year. When you do door to door, depending on the weather, you don't know if they're throwing it away. It's not always the most trustworthy people that are dealing with those direct mail, the door to door. So you've got people who this is like the job that they don't want. They're just trying to make some money for today, doing the door to door. Because who else is going to do it? Honestly, it's a hard job, right? Yeah. Number one. Also, when you do social media in conjunction with direct mail is very effective. Alone, it does not.
What do you mean in conjunction?
Well, we have a program that we're rolling out right now, and this is always direct mail is doing banner ads and carousel ads on Facebook. So like we will create a menu for your product, for your business, or a postcard. We will mail them out into certain areas around your business, and at the same time have a display ad on Google, Facebook, YouTube, all over the different Google networks and Facebook networks that will show your ad that matches the postcard or the menu, so that it creates a secondary, where they're seeing you more than one time. But in itself is not very effective. But in conjunction with direct mail, it's it can be very effective. And it's all subconscious because people really don't click on those too much. And if they do, that doesn't mean. See, people don't save banner ads. You can't take a banner ad, put it in your drawer. All right. When you want to order something, there's a drawer. Everybody has that drawer. They save they save it. Am I wrong?
Totally, yes.
They have it at
when
work.
When you say that, I can picture
home.
exactly where it is at work and exactly where it is at home. Yeah.
It's either stuck on the fridge with a magnet sometimes.
Ours actually has like a box and there's like a pizza on it. I don't know where we got it. It's like a wooden box and we just throw it in there.
There you go. Yeah. And what do you have in there? You have everything that comes in that looks intriguing.
Yep.
Magazines, magnets. First of all, nobody puts magnets on a refrigerator unless you're a single guy. Okay.
Ours doesn't even have, it's not even magnetized. We can't even put a magnet on our refrigerator. So yeah.
I've never seen a fridge that's not magnetized.
Yeah.
That's strange.
So yeah.
What is it, plastic?
I don't know what the surface is, but it's not magnetized.
It's like un-American almost. I feel like you need that. But anyways, people don't put, there's no room for pizza or restaurant magnets to be on your fridge. I mean, there should be a drawer that you go to because, you want to put pictures of your family, kids, not the pizza coupons. But anyways, everybody's got a box. This is a cultural thing across the country. I don't care from Los Angeles to Miami. This is something that everybody does. If you're single, if you're married, if you're living with friends, it doesn't matter. You always have a drawer that goes where the coupons go. And the longer you wait to send it out, the farther you go down the coupon drawer. Okay. So for example, if you do one big mailing and you hit everybody in a 1 mile radius, but then you don't do it for 2 more years, you can consider that basically on the bottom of the pile. Okay?
What is a minimum you consider, like, if you're not going to, do a minimum, 6 months or a minimum of a year, what would be the minimum? You're like, listen, you need to do it for this amount of time or you're not really getting the worth out of it.
I'd say a minimum of twice a year.
Yeah.
You need to hit somebody twice a year.
I mean, for a year, like actually do it consistently for a year.
Well,
I guess. So you're saying
how many times do you want to hit it? You want to hit each address twice a year.
Got it.
So that could determine the budget at that point because, so if you go to urban populations, urban city areas, you'll see that there's so many addresses. I mean, 100,000 addresses in a 2 mile radius. That's a lot, right? Let's just round up a little bit, round down 10,000 a month to hit them once a year.
Right.
Or no. Yeah. And so, that's a lot of money. I mean, but some people do it. We do it personally. That's how much we do about 4,000 pieces per week consistently. But the return is unbelievable.
Talk about some of the offers throughout the year.
Okay, so there's when you're sending out any kind of campaign, you always want to do a couple things. Number one, what's the size that you're sending out? The bigger, the better. That's always going to be the case. Number two, when it comes to the design, you want to have clear, concise pictures. You don't want to have a lot of clutter. You want to have a big offer right on the front, something that's so obvious, so obvious that they don't have to sit there and think twice about what it is and whether or not they want to save it. That they see this, they're going to save it or they're going to use it. But how often do somebody go into their post office, go into their mailbox and looking through all the mail and say, "Oh, I'm ready to order right this second"? Nobody. That's why it's so effective with businesses, with restaurants specifically, because they're not ready to order now. They're thinking about dinner tomorrow or in 2 weeks when they have a birthday party, but they're not looking to order that second. That's why social media doesn't work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like direct mail. So the coupons are the last part. You want to do a lot of engineering of your design so that it is very effective. You don't want to clutter the mind of the consumer by creating too many options where they get confused. Okay. Just have 3 or 4 options or 5 at the most of coupons that are very in the value of the mind's value. They say a very good product for a very good price, but for you, it needs to be something that's still profitable at the end of the day. So with restaurants, we always recommend bread products. Okay, or soup products, because those are most of the time very profitable and very cheap to make. For pizzerias, we recommend cheesy garlic bread or, a small pizza, something to garlic knots, anything to do with bread, mainly not meat, not poultry, but bread, because bread is pennies to make and the cheese is probably the most expensive part if there is any cheese on there, but you can still make a margin on it and give them a very good value. So in their mind's eye, they're saying, okay, this is fantastic. I'm getting a whole pizza for $4 or $10 or whatever that number is, but it costs you only $2.50 to make. So you're still not losing money, and you're getting them in the door. Now, I'm not saying cheapen your product. I'm just throwing that as an example.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because if your pepperonis cost you X amount of dollars, you should offer a cheese pizza, not necessarily a pepperoni and sausage meat lovers pizza.
Exactly.
John, you've been in the industry for a long time. I'm curious, some of your favorite vendors they use, because vendors are key. You mentioned ingredients and products. Who are some of your favorite vendors out there?
We use a couple of different vendors. Battaglia Foods, okay, which is Chicagoland spot that everybody goes to because they're family owned, very nice, consistent, prices are excellent. And then we also use US Foods, which everybody knows US Foods, but we get a lot of the meat, like poultry products from them, and their consistency and service is bar none. I mean, you can't beat it. So those two.
Any others?
Not really. Those are only two main. Oh, and then Lezza Spumani is a dessert company that we use. Yeah. So if you're looking for cakes, Italian desserts, Italian ice, Lezza Spumani. It's I can give you I'll give you put the contact information there. I forgot about him. Oh, he's excellent. And he makes custom cakes for us for Papa Ray's Pizza, which is a monster chocolate brownie cheesecake and then a monster chocolate cake. I mean, they're huge.
I can't talk to you this early because I get hungry, but
I know my wife packed me strawberries for lunch, and I'm like, I'm gonna go get a cake somewhere.
First of all, John, thanks for sharing your knowledge. I always learn something from you, and everyone should check out other episodes where you have amazing guests and talk about the power of marketing and how people can grow their business, whether it's restaurant or other things. Where should we point people towards? What's the website we should point people towards to find out more about the direct mail?
alwaysdirectmail.com. That's alwaysdirectmail.com. And you can go on there. You can fill out some form. Call us up, 866-407-6245. There's a team of people ready to answer your calls, answer your questions any time of the day. So 866-407-6245 or alwaysdirectmail.com. Thanks for talking to me.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks for listening to the Always Direct podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.